My son blocked my number the week he got married. I found out he was a groom from a stranger's video on Instagram. Him standing under an arch of white flowers, looking thinner than I remembered, holding the hands of a woman who had smiled in my face and lied to mine. By the time that clip finished playing, my hands were shaking so badly I nearly dropped my phone. I didn't drop it, though. I used it to find the location. So when the pastor said, "If anyone here has a reason why these two should not be joined in holy matrimony," I stood up at the back of the hall, in my plain blue dress and old church shoes, heart pounding so hard I could hear it over the music. But let me start before that moment, before the gasps, before my son's eyes went wide and full of hurt. Because if you just saw the video people later shared of the crazy mother crashing her son's wedding, you'd probably think I was just bitter, controlling, jealous of another woman taking my place. The truth, like most things, is messier. My name is Denise. I'm 52 years old, and my son, Marcus, has been my heart walking around outside my body for 28 of those years. I had Marcus, young, 23, working as a cashier at a supermarket, more fear than money in my pocket. His father and I didn't make it. "Not ready to be a family," he'd said, packing a duffel bag and promising to still be around. I saw him 3 times after that. So it was just me and Marcus. A little apartment with thin walls and second-hand furniture. I worked days, then nights when I had to, took classes at the community college, and did my best to make sure my boy never felt like a burden. We had our rituals. Saturday mornings, pancakes from a box mix while cartoons played too loud. Sundays, church at Greater Emmanuel, where the older ladies pinched his cheeks and whispered, "He's gonna be somebody one day." Homework at the small kitchen table, his pencil tapping when he got stuck, my voice saying, "Sound it out, baby. You got this." I was strict but not unkind. He had chores. He had a curfew. When he messed up, I didn't just yell, we sat and talked. Lord knows I made plenty of mistakes, but I tried to be the kind of mother I wished I'd had, present, even when tired. We weren't rich, but Marcus never went hungry, never went to school dirty, never lacked a hug when the world was rough. When he graduated high school, I screamed the loudest in that stadium. When he crossed the stage at college, I cried so hard he laughed and said, "Ma, you acting like I cured cancer." "To me, you did," I told him. "You broke a cycle." He started working in IT, something with code and servers I pretended to understand. He moved into his own 1-bedroom not too far from my place. For the first year, he'd still show up at my door with laundry or call me to ask how long to bake chicken thighs. "Until the juices run clear and you can't see no more pink," I'd say. "And don't burn my baking dish." We were close. Not perfect, no mother and grown son are, but close. He'd text me random memes, call when his car made a funny noise, drop by on Sundays for dinner, sometimes with a bag of groceries for the house. So when he started to pull away, I felt it before I could name it. It started simple, fewer Sunday dinners. "Ma, I'm tired, been working extra." Shorter calls. "Can I call you back?" Then taking days to do it, messages left on read. "Everything okay?" I asked him one afternoon when he did come by, his eyes shadowed, his plate barely touched. "Yeah, Ma, I'm good," he said, staring at his phone. "Just life, you know." I nodded, but inside something tugged. The first time he mentioned her, it was almost in passing. We were on the phone, me folding laundry, him probably watching some game. "Oh, I met somebody," he said, like he was telling me it might rain. I froze with one of his old t-shirts in my hand. "Oh, who is she?" "Her name's Tiana," he said. I could hear the small smile in his voice. "She works in accounting at the firm. She's cool. We've been out a few times." "Accounting," I repeated. "So she's smart." "Yeah," he said. "And beautiful, Ma, you should see." He caught himself, laughed. "Not like that. I mean, she's got her own place, her own car. No drama, it's nice." "I'm happy for you," I told him, and I meant it. I'd prayed for him to find someone good. Someone who wouldn't use him, wouldn't lean on him until he broke. "Take your time," I added. "No rush to run down any aisles." "I know," he said. We just talking, it's early. Except early turned into serious faster than he let on. Weeks passed. I heard more about Tiana, how she liked her coffee, how she showed up with soup when he got sick, how she could talk about money without making him feel stupid. Bring her to dinner, I said one Sunday. Let me feed this girl taking care of my son. He hesitated. Yeah, I'll ask her, he said. She's been busy, her family real close. She sees them a lot. That became the pattern. I'd invite. He'd say, I'll ask. Nobody came. Then, one Thursday evening, he called. Tiana wants to meet you, he said. This Saturday we'll come by. I practically ran to the store the next morning, buying fresh chicken, vegetables, the good rice. I set the table with the nice plates I saved for holidays. I changed the curtains in the living room just because they were bothering me all of a sudden. When they arrived, I saw immediately why he was smitten. Tiana was stunning. Mid-20s, caramel skin, hair in a sleek bob, nails done in a soft pink. Her dress was simple but obviously not cheap. She carried herself with the kind of quiet confidence money often buys. Ms. Denise, it's so nice to meet you, she said, giving me a small hug that didn't quite touch. You can call me Denise, I replied. Or Ma if we get there. I laughed, her smile flickered. We sat, we ate. I asked questions. She answered politely, but there was a layer there, something practiced, like she'd done this a few times before. So your family, I asked. They in town? She sipped her water. My parents live about 30 minutes away, she said. We're close. Do they know about Marcus? I asked, teasing. Or are we still a secret? She laughed lightly. Oh, they know, she said. My mom is very involved. We have that in common, I said. Marcus knows I stay in his business. He grinned. Too much sometimes. We all laughed, but Tiana's eyes did a quick calculation I didn't miss. In that moment, I knew. She saw me as competition, not as an ally. Later, when I walked them to the door, she turned to Marcus. You coming over after this, babe? She asked. We still need to finish that movie. Yeah, he said. Give me like 10 minutes. She nodded, then looked at me. It was nice meeting you again, she said. Again, I repeated. She blinked, then smiled. I mean, nice finally meeting you, she corrected. Sorry, long week. They left. I stood in the hallway a moment, replaying it. Again. I let it go. Told myself I was reading too much into it. Told myself, you wanted him to find someone. Don't be that mother. But the next time I tried to call Marcus and saw that my message didn't say delivered for hours, a little seed of unease sprouted. The first real shock, though, came not from him. It came from a patient's daughter at the clinic where I work. She was scrolling on her phone while I checked them out, and a picture flashed by that made my breath hitch. Marcus and Tiana, standing in a backyard I didn't recognize, dressed nice with her family around them. She was holding up her left hand, showing off a ring. The caption read, she said yes, welcome to the family, Marcus. I stared so long the girl at the counter cleared her throat. Everything okay, Ms. Denise? I blinked, forcing my eyes away. Yes, baby, I said. Allergies acting up. I swallowed, finished their discharge, walked into the staff bathroom and locked the door. My own son was engaged. The whole world knew. And I'd found out from a stranger's newsfeed. When I called him that night, he didn't pick up. The next morning, when I tried again, the call went straight to voicemail. By afternoon, when my texts turned green instead of blue, I understood. Marcus hadn't just ignored me. He'd blocked me. Part 3, The Crash, Consequences, and Beginning of Healing, tilde 100 words. When my texts turned green and my calls went straight to voicemail, I didn't want to believe what I already knew. I wiped my hands on a dish towel and tried again, this time from the house phone I barely used anymore. Welcome to voicemail. Same robotic voice, same silence. At work the next day, on my break, I tried from the clinic line, heart pounding as I dialed. It rang once. Twice. Then clicked. Hello, his voice, my boy. Marcus, I breathed. Baby, it's me. There was a small, stunned pause. I could practically hear him blinking. How did you get this number? He asked, voice tight. You changed numbers, I asked. You blocked your own mother. He sighed, the sound scraping. Ma, please don't make this a thing, Tiana said. Ah, I said quietly. There it is. She said you'd react like this, he went on. That you'd take everything personal. I need space. We're trying to plan a wedding and I can't deal with all the extra stress. A wedding, I repeated. You mean the engagement I found out about from the internet? He went silent again. In the background, I heard a woman's voice, muffled, impatient. A door closing. I was going to tell you, he said. Things got hectic. Marcus, I said, keeping my voice as steady as I could, even while my chest felt like it was splitting. I carried you for 9 months. I brought you into this world. I have never laid a hand on you in anger. I have never put you out, never made you sleep hungry. And yet, somehow, the story that made sense to you is that I'm so dangerous, you needed to block me. He exhaled sharply. It's not about danger, he muttered. It's about boundaries. Tiana's family, they're different. They like things planned. She said if you came into this with drama, it would start us off wrong. So rather than see for yourself how I act, I said slowly, you let a woman you've known 1 year and her people you don't even share blood with decide what kind of mother I am. He didn't answer that. I'm at work, I said softly. So I'm not going to say what I'm feeling right now, but hear me clearly. I raised you better than to erase me to make other people comfortable. I'm not erasing you, he argued weakly. I just need time. We'll talk after the wedding, I promise. After the wedding I wasn't invited to, I asked. He swallowed, I could hear it. It's small, he said. Just immediate family. Her side is paying for most of it, they said. They said I wouldn't fit, I finished for him. That I'd embarrass you. That your nurse mama with the apartment furniture and the loud church laugh would mess up their pretty pictures. He didn't deny it, not really. Ma, please, he said finally. Don't show up. Don't make this harder than it has to be. He hung up before I could respond. I sat there in the tiny clinic break room, the fluorescent light buzzing overhead, my lunch untouched. My hands trembled so badly I had to grip the table. Pain is one thing, but being treated like a problem to manage, that cuts different. For a few days I went quiet. I went to work. I came home. I washed dishes, swept floors, sat on my bed staring at the framed pictures on my dresser. Marcus at 5 with missing front teeth, at 18 in his cap and gown, at 22 with his first car, keys held up like a trophy. I talked to God more than I talked to anyone else. Lord, I said one night, sitting on the edge of my bed, don't let me become bitter, but please don't let me become a doormat either. The wedding details trickled to me in pieces, from social media, from church ladies who didn't realize I was in the dark. Ooh, Denise, I saw Marcus' name on the program at that country club, Sister Lorraine chirped one Sunday after service. Such a beautiful venue. Y'all must be excited. I smiled with my teeth, not my eyes. Yes, ma'am, I said. It's a blessing. I went home and cried until my head hurt. One evening, scrolling through my phone, I saw it. A video on Tiana's cousin's page. A quick pan of a decorated hall, white flowers, fairy lights, a sign in the background. Welcome to the wedding of Marcus and Tiana. April 16, Lakeside Banquet Hall. The camera moved too fast. Whoever posted it didn't realize how much they'd revealed. But they did. Date, place, everything. My thumb hovered over the screen. My heart pounded in my ears. I thought about what Marcus had said. Don't show up. Don't make this harder. I thought about all the years I'd shown up. Parent-teacher nights, baseball games, emergency room visits, college move-in day, all the times I'd sat in the audience clapping for him even when nobody was clapping for me. I thought about being written out of the biggest day of his life, like I was a villain. The easy thing would have been to stay home, to let them tell whatever story made them feel righteous. His mother is crazy. She refused to come. We had to protect our peace. But another thought rose up, quiet and clear. If they are going to cut you out, make sure they have to do it to your face, not just behind your back. I didn't know what I was going to say. I just knew I needed to be in that room. So on April 16, I put on my plain blue dress. Not white to compete with the bride. Not black like a funeral. Just me. I pressed my hair back, put on small earrings, slipped my feet into my old church heels. I grabbed my purse, and after a long pause, slid the baby picture of Marcus from my dresser into my wallet. I don't know why. Maybe I needed to carry the reminder of who we'd been. Lakeside Banquet Hall was on the nicer side of town, the kind of place I'd never been inside. The parking lot was full of shiny cars, women in gowns, men in suits that probably cost more than my monthly rent. I walked in alone. A young woman in a headset manned a small table near the door. "Hi, welcome," she said. "Name?" "Denise Carter," I said, giving my maiden name on instinct. She scanned her list, brows knitting. "I don't see." "It's okay," I said. "I'm family." She hesitated, then shrugged. "Ceremony, starting in 5, she said, pointing. "You can stand at the back." The hall was beautiful, rows of white chairs, an arch of flowers at the front, soft music floating through the speakers. Tiana stood near the front with her bridesmaids, veil down, dress hugging her like the world owed her something. Her parents sat in the front row, her mother small and sharp in a silver dress, chin lifted. Marcus stood under the arch, hands clasped, looking both handsome and haunted. He scanned the room briefly, his gaze slid right past me. He wasn't expecting me, so he wasn't really looking. I stayed at the back, hands folded over my purse, heart beating faster with every word the pastor said. He talked about love, about honor, about cleaving to one another and leaving your parents. I almost laughed at that last part. They didn't just leave, they blocked. Then he said it, the line I'd heard at weddings my whole life, but never really paid attention to until that moment. If anyone here has a reason why these two should not be joined in holy matrimony, speak now or forever hold your peace. The air seemed to tighten. I didn't plan it. My legs just straightened. My hand went up a little before I even knew what it was doing. "I need to say something," I heard myself say. Every head turned, Marcus too. His eyes landed on me like he'd seen a ghost. "Ma," he breathed. Tiana stiffened. Her mother's mouth dropped open. A low murmur rose, swelling like a wave. The pastor looked startled. "Ma'am, this isn't usually the time." "I'm not here to stop a wedding," I said quickly, voice trembling but loud enough. "I'm not here to curse these two or drag anybody's business. I just can't let my silence be used as a weapon against me later." I took a breath. The room smelled like perfume and flowers and something else, tension. "I am Marcus' mother," I said, my voice steadying as I spoke. "I raised him alone. I fed him, clothed him, prayed over him. If he chooses this woman, that's his choice. He's grown. But I was told I was being cut out for peace, called toxic, controlling, a problem to be managed. I got blocked like a spam number." I glanced at Tiana's mother. She shifted in her seat. "I found out my son was engaged from strangers on the internet," I went on. "I found out his wedding date from somebody's decor video. I am standing here today not because I want to stop this marriage, but because I refuse to let the story be that I didn't care, or I chose not to come." I turned my eyes back to my son. "Marcus," I said softly, and the whole room faded a little. "You want to marry her, but don't erase where you came from to do it. Don't stand up here and let folks think your mama didn't love you enough to show up." His face crumpled a little. From the front row, Tiana's mother hissed, "This is exactly what we were trying to avoid." I looked at her. "What you were trying to avoid," I said gently, "was accountability. You could have sat me down. You could have said, 'We're worried about drama, can we talk boundaries?' Instead, you painted me as a monster to justify your own discomfort." She flushed, eyes darting around as a few relatives whispered. The pastor cleared his throat, clearly out of his depth. "Maybe we can take a moment," he said. "Family, would you like to step outside?" Marcus hesitated, then nodded. "Yeah," he said. "I need a minute." We ended up in a small side room. Just me, Marcus, Tiana, her parents, and the pastor. Nobody spoke at first. The muffled sound of guests murmuring bled through the walls. Tiana was the first. "This was supposed to be our day," she said, eyes bright with unshed tears. "You made a scene." "So did you," I replied. "Months ago, quietly. You just did it in phone calls and group chats instead of a hall." Marcus ran a hand over his head. "Ma," he said, voice rough, "why did you come?" "Because I couldn't sleep," I said simply. "Because the idea of you standing out there, pretending you were raised by ghosts, burned me up. Because if I stayed home, it would have been another lie on top of the pile." He swallowed. "They said you'd take over, that you'd make everything about you, that you'd embarrass us." "And what do you say?" I asked. "You've known me 28 years. Have I ever shown up to your school, your job, your life, and made it about me?" He looked at his shoes. "No," he admitted. You showed up for me, even when I didn't deserve it." Tiana's mother scoffed. "Marcus, we don't have time for this. The guests." "The guests can wait," he snapped, surprising all of us. He turned back to me. "I was scared," he said. "Scared of conflict, scared of mixing worlds. Tiana's family is intense. They said if I didn't set firm boundaries, I'd be choosing you over my future. And instead," I said quietly, "you decided to choose them by cutting me off entirely." He flinched. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "It wasn't big. It wasn't enough. But it was something." Tiana's face was tight. "So what now?" she demanded. "You're not calling off the wedding, are you?" I looked between them. Two young people tangled up in love, fear, manipulation, expectations. "I didn't come here to make that choice for you," I said. "That's between y'all and God. I came here to tell the truth and then step back. I won't bless a lie, but I also won't curse your union if you decide to go through with it." I took a breath, felt my shoulders drop. "Marcus, I love you," I said. "Nothing changes that, but I will not chase you through blocked numbers and back doors. If you want me in your life, you will have to make room, properly, not as a secret." His eyes filled. "Will you sit in the front?" he asked, voice small. If we go back out there." Tiana stiffened. "Marcus." He turned to her. "You said you wanted a man who stood up," he said softly. "This is me standing. I'm not marrying you by erasing my mother, if that's a deal breaker." The silence that followed was thick. Tiana's mother looked like she'd swallowed a lemon. Her father, who'd been quiet until then, finally spoke. "Let the boy have his mother present," he said, weary. "We can't start a marriage on that kind of ugliness." Tiana closed her eyes briefly, then opened them. "Fine," she said. "But there have to be boundaries." I smiled, a little sad. "Boundaries go both ways," I said, "and we'll talk about them later, not today." We went back out. I didn't stop the wedding. They said, "I do." They kissed. People clapped. Some avoided looking at me, some smiled, tight but respectful. I sat in a front row seat that had been left, mysteriously, empty, my hands folded, tears slipping down my cheeks, not just from pain, but from a complicated joy. My son was making a choice. Flawed, human, messy. But this time, he wasn't doing it while pretending I didn't exist. After, at the reception, he came over once, hugged me tight. "I unblocked you," he whispered in my ear. "I know," I said. My phone had buzzed with his text during the toasts, just a heart emoji. Small, but real. We are not magically healed. Weddings don't fix years of hurt. Tiana and I are still figuring each other out. Her mother and I are polite, not close. But Marcus calls now. Not every day, not even every week. Enough. He brings Tiana by for dinner sometimes. We talk about boundaries in therapy, all three of us, when we can afford it. We are trying not to repeat the ghosts of the past. I don't regret crashing that wedding. I stood up, not to stop him from loving her, but to stop them from rewriting me into a villain in my own story. Sometimes, you have to be willing to be called crazy in the moment to stay sane with yourself in the long run. Would you like me to write the final closing audience reflection now, speaking directly to the listeners with the moral and a question, in Auntie Me style?